Good morning. Okay, I was just waiting if anyone joins in. Fortunately, you did.
Actually, I had some net issues, so
Okay.
I'm just connecting through my laptop, sir. Just give me a second. Currently
Sure,
on
sure,
mobile. Just,
sure.
just
Because today,
disconnecting and reconnecting.
today's topic is going to be very interesting because Kubernetes itself is interesting. Setup will be important and interesting.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I'll start sharing my screen. Is that you, Weber?
Yes. I joined from laptop.
Okay, cool. Fine. So now let's begin. Any questions in any of the previous session, Weber, before we proceed?
No, sir. So that part is clear. Yeah. I mean, that initial still has to gone through it. But yeah, the Docker and the recently, which we last 2 weeks, I have completed all the practicals, Docker and everything.
Okay,
But that
okay.
GitHub, that only topic which I haven't done it, but that I will do this weekend.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. How many days of session we had? It's like 22 last month. I think we started on 18th, right? Yeah, we started on 18th. So it's like 5 and um 3, 8 to 10. So that basically makes it 32 hours of session is already done. And there will be more, I think 18 hours of session. Maximum 18 to 20 hours. Maximum 18 to 20 hours of session will be
Okay.
there. Try to stop me. That's what I'm saying. Because if you won't stop, then I'll cover and complete everything in maybe 12 days also.
Uh, okay.
So try to stop me.
Sir,
Ask me. Uh,
and one more thing, sir. While doing this practical, I did the same way, but I don't know. Today I got the bill from AWS. It's low, but
no,
I,
but you have recently created your AWS account, right?
no, I'm using my old one only.
How many years back?
That date I'm exactly not sure, but I seen like the similar instances. It was showing free for me, which we.
Yeah, but how many months back you have created your account?
I think last year I created, not
That's the reason.
recently.
So because
Okay.
12 months only is the grace period. Even
Okay.
though if it shows free tier eligible, it's not free for you
Okay.
because you have crossed that period of 12 months.
Okay. So I have to use the new one. Okay.
Yeah, create another account, my
Okay.
suggestion.
Yeah.
Because now what's happening is like the way we saw when these two guys have created, Ashwini
Yeah.
and Shakil, they were getting $200 of money to spend for 6 months.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I applied the budget also, but I don't know. I did not receive any email. Today I got 58 rupees. I mean,
Like couple of cents. So I'm
yeah.
sure you have crossed that the 12 months boundary.
Yeah, it was long back. I think I created.
And all the resources you are stopping, right?
Yeah, yeah. Let's stop.
Yeah, so that could be another reason, I think. Okay. But this one for sure will charge you. The
Okay.
demo, that definitely this will charge you.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. So don't even stop it. Just delete it. Once you're
Yeah,
done
yeah.
with the
Now
demo.
I'm going to delete everything and I will create the
Yeah.
new account.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So now what we are going to learn in, and we have covered the theory, how to create one EKS cluster. And this is very important. So now in order to create EKS cluster, you are already aware of this AWS console, which we have used in our AWS sessions, right? So you already are familiar with this console,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we are going to use this console only. And in this console, in the search tab, we will search for EKS. Like the way even I explained previously that for different cloud vendor, we have different name for Kubernetes services. In AWS, it's known as EKS, is Elastic Kubernetes Service, first option in the list, which you can see now. Another is Azure, to which we call as AKS, Azure Kubernetes Service. In Google, it's GKE, Google Kubernetes Engine. In DigitalOcean, it's DOCS, DigitalOcean Kubernetes Services. So these are the different names for Kubernetes service in different, which is offered by different cloud vendor, right? So now we are going to click on the first option, which is Elastic Kubernetes Service. And again, I'm repeating, this is very, very important, which I'm going to talk about. I already created one because creation of cluster takes approximately 20 minutes. So I've created one, but I'll demonstrate you how to create for you. So when you are creating, you will land to this page. You won't go to the page where it's showing clusters for me. You will land to this page where you don't have any cluster available for you. So once you are into this page, you will get an option create cluster. Or even though you are in this page, even though you are in this page, for me it's showing one. For you, it won't show anything. For you, it will be blank and it won't show you. This dashboard will be blank. So if you land to this dashboard page, if you land to this page, then click on create cluster, this option create cluster. Or if you land to clusters page, then here at the right top you can see the option to create cluster. Click on that. As you are clicking, you get two options: quick mode with EKS auto mode, which is the newer one, which is the easy to manage, and another is custom configuration, which has so many options to choose from. We'll choose the first option, which is the EKS auto mode, because this is easy to maintain, this is easy to manage, and this is what we will normally choose in our real time productions like situation also. When you choose that, the first thing which it's asking for is cluster configuration. So what is that cluster configuration? Under the cluster configuration, the first thing which it will ask for you is what is the name of the cluster you want to give? Like when we were creating EC2 instance, we gave a name to EC2 instance. Similar to that, for EKS cluster also, the first thing which it's going to ask you is name of the EKS cluster. Next thing is what is the Kubernetes version you want to choose? Try to choose the latest one. Though there are the previous versions also, like 1.33, 1.34 is also there, but their support is the support and the standard support will lapse sooner. Like for 1.32, it's going to lapse on 23rd March 2026.
End of life.
End of standard support.
Okay.
So normally whenever you create any resource, by default AWS offers you certain support. Like say in case any problem comes, you can directly reach out to AWS and can ask for some claims, because we are dealing with the production data. So in case some production data gets impacted, then companies reach out to AWS and say that I was still in contract and I was expecting support from you, but you were unable to provide me support, so pay the penalty. Now for 1.32, like the way you can say, end of standard support is March 23. 1.33 is July 29. 1.34 is 2nd of December 2026. For extended support, for which we have to pay, being a customer, some extra amount to AWS. we can just purchase some extended support also. But the standard support, by default, the support is the first one for each of the version. Now, since the most latest version of Kubernetes is 1.34, we are going to choose that. Next thing which it's asking is cluster IAM role. As of now, it's already created. That's the reason it's asking. But for you, it will be blank. For you, it will be blank. For me, it's showing because I already have created one just to save time.
Okay.
So now for you, it will be blank. Nothing will be showing you here. In order to create, what you have to do, like the way we have learned in our IAM session in AWS, IAM role, we have to create that. Now in that IAM role, what you have to do is, there are two kind of IAM roles which you have to create: cluster IAM role and node IAM role. Creation of these two roles are super easy task. You just have to choose all the default values. Now here it says create a recommended role and click on this. So what I've done, I've just clicked on this create recommended role and it is taking me to this page. I'm landing to this page. As I land to this page, I just have to click on next. Nothing other than this. Nothing other than this. All the values are pre-selected. I don't have to make any alteration in this. Just click on next. It will also just show you the page where with the selection of these rules, with the selection of default values, which all policies will be added to this role, it will show you in the next page. It will show you that these are the policies which will be attached to the role. You remember that roles and policies and users which we covered in our IAM section, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Initial sections. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Basically, we are just giving some permissions and
absolutely.
yeah.
Yes, yes. And since you are thinking, because I understand from your thought process, Vaibhav, that you want
Mhm.
to change your career. You are very much interested in changing your career from networking domain to legacy,
Yeah.
and networking domain, which will be very soon legacy, to the AWS cloud and DevOps one. Having knowledge of these all components will be super important because what I'll say is don't wait for don't wait for any maybe good day or any maybe any specific time to start your interview process. No, immediately start it,
Okay.
right? Because I'll tell you something, it's not as in if you applied for the job today, you'll start getting interview calls from tomorrow. It's not going to happen
Yeah.
because you understand market. You're already 8 to 9
Yeah.
years of experience.
Yeah.
You understand market. So even though if you apply for the job now, it will take some time, maybe a month or so,
Yeah.
for interviews to reach. By the time we'll be done with the session. But what will happen is if after the completion of this session, you will start for the applying for the job, that time what will happen is again it will take 1 month. By the time you will forget things because you are out of touch, right? So start applying for the job so that once you get job interview calls, you will have some sort of pressure in your mind that yes, I have to prepare, I have to read. Already you are in flow, so you will just go back, will listen all the recordings, will practice certain topics, and you will gradually be ready for job interview, right?
Yeah.
So start applying now itself. This is the time.
Yeah. I will update my resume, sir.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
this is like 2026 resolution.
Yeah. But yeah, what I'm doing now, sir, like started preparing notes while watching the recording and doing the practicals.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, again, to go through that 1 hour video, instead of that now, the only key pointed I noting, and so that's helpful just for a reference. And I
Yeah, yeah.
started doing that.
Very
And
good,
not
very good.
doing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But parallelly, because you just don't want to learn, because
Yeah.
you want to apply it in your career as well.
Yeah.
So start applying for the job. That will be very important. Okay. So once you have selected this option, these all options, click on next again. It will ask for the role name. this role is already created for me, but for you, it won't be there. And description also, nothing you have to change, right? And then once you're creating the role, it will create this role for you. For me, this role is already created. If I'll give some other name, it will create it. But this role is already created for me. And click on create role so that it will be created. This will be first role. So once you are done with that, what will happen is you'll have to just refresh this page and this will be auto selected. You even no need to click on the drop down and select it. You just need to click on this refresh option. It will just auto select it. This is first thing. So there are two kind of roles: cluster IAM role. This cluster IAM role you are going to select to allow the Kubernetes control plane to manage AWS resources on your behalf. Because what you are going to do, you are going to use Kubernetes control plane. You understand the difference in between control plane and data plane. We have
Yeah.
we have learned that, right?
Yeah.
So Kubernetes control plane, what it is going to do, it is going to manage AWS resources on your behalf, because you have to create some pods. You have to manage some other nodes. What are nodes? Nodes are another virtual machines. So this EKS, its control plane, what it has to do, it has to interact with other nodes. It has to create some pods in other nodes, right? So it has to do a couple of things. So it has to interact with other resources in AWS. Also, with this cluster IAM role, what it will do, it will have permissions to interact with those instances, and create those pods. This is very important. Now, another thing is node IAM role. Again, here also you click on this create recommended role. You no need to make any changes hereafter. Just click on next, next, and create role. You will end up creating the role for yourself. What's happening? It's slow for some reason. Create IAM role. Okay, so now again this page opens. This is a different role than cluster IAM role. So there are two roles: cluster IAM role and node IAM role. So now this node IAM role, you'll have to again let the default, right? Let the default default option be chosen. Click on next, and again this policy starts appearing. You don't need to make any changes. Click on next. Here again says I'm creating this role. What it does, it allows AKS node to connect to AKS automode clusters and to pull container images from ACR, right? So this is basically talking about images, because eventually it has to create there will be container within the pod. And in order to create the container, what we need images, right? So this role is again important. So now, once we choose this option, after that, you again hit on create role button and you will end up creating this role also. So now once this role is created, again, you have to come and you have to again refresh this, and this will get auto selected. You no need to do anything else. So these are the options which you have to choose. You have to give a name here. You have to give a version here, which you choose the latest one. Choose the cluster IAM role after you created it. Choose the node IAM role after you created it. Other values remains default. You no need to change anything after that. That's it. That's it. Okay. And after that, you hit on this create button. It takes 20 minutes of time. So what are the fields you have to change? Name, version, IAM role, and node IAM role, cluster IAM role and node IAM role. Other values remains same. You no need to change anything. And
Okay.
then you click on create. It takes 20 minutes, 20 minutes it is going to take for this cluster to create. And once this cluster is created, you will be able to access it. It will be visible like this. It will show you active. Initially, it will show creating. When it shows creating, it will be here at the status. Here, it will show creating. For me, it shows active. For you, it will show creating. Everything will be 0, 0, 0, 0, and it will show creating. After 20 minutes, it will be created for you. Okay, after
Okay.
20 minutes, it will be created for you. Now, once it is created, next thing what you have to do is you have to come to networking, because now what you have to do, uh, like the way what we have done in EC2 instance. For EC2 instance to access, what we have to do, we have to allow some policies.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have done that because security
SH
group is like a firewall.
firewall. Yeah.
So similarly, same thing even we have to do for this also. We have to click on networking, look for security group. You see, cluster security group. Click on this cluster security group. As you click on this cluster security group, it will open that security group which is associated. It says all traffic, but it is sourcing only to this. I will edit this and I will make it all traffic. I'll make it all traffic and source also anywhere IPv4. That's it.
Yeah.
Like the way I did. Is it, this is clear, right? Or
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have
this part is clear, sir.
here
We are allowing everything to
everything.
exercise.
Yes, everything. No restriction for now. Okay. So now done. I am done with my cluster creation. Now, so this is what you have to do to create one EKS cluster for yourself. Once you are created with the cluster, next thing is to associate, to connect to the cluster. Because I said you that we have to execute some kubectl command. You have to execute, write some scripts. But like the way you have learned, when we were learning Docker, what we have done, we had to connect to EC2 instance in order to create Docker containers
Yeah.
and other stuffs. We had to connect to that. Similarly, in order to access this Kubernetes cluster, which we have created just now, I have to connect to EC2 instance. So again, same EC2 instance. I have this EC2 instance already created. Now, now let's see one thing. Now you see how many EC2 instances it will have. Now, let's see how many. You see, there are three EC2 instances. One EC2 instance is Jenkins demo, which we created earlier. Two EC2 instances recently created. Recently created. These two. And what are these two EC2 instances? These two EC2 instances are these nodes. This cluster should have control plane and data plane. Even the data plane will have nodes. And what are these nodes? Nodes are nothing but virtual machine. So these two instances, I did not create it. EKS itself created it. Remember that. I have
Um,
no control in this. EKS itself has created it. Okay. So now this has been created by EKS. Now AKS, when it's created, AKS is associated with the control plane. You can see it in EKS dashboard also. If you click on compute, you will be able to see these two nodes and see the node name 4F7F0 and 38F47F0 and 38F58. See, F4, 7F0 and 38 F58, same two EC2 instances are present here in EKS cluster also. So yes, these two instances are associated with EKS cluster, right? These two instances are associated with EKS cluster, and I did not create it. It was auto created at the time of cluster creation. This part is clear, right?
so, sir, this two, the purpose to create these two instances is just for, one is for control and the other one is for management, or
No, 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 no. No. So control plane, and this is very good question which you asked. So now what is happening in case of EKS? Now EKS is absolutely managed by cloud
yeah.
at AWS. So now here we don't have separate instance for control plane. We no need to have separate instance for
Okay.
control plane. Control plane is by default managed by AWS. We will just have the data plane components. So both the nodes, both the virtual machine which you are seeing are making this data plane. Nothing, no separate instance is there for control plane. Yeah. So both the nodes, both the EC2 instance are the nodes for data plane only. No separate instances will be there for control plane. We can use our own EC2 instance, which we have used till now for demo purpose, to connect to this control plane. Control plane is managed by Kubernetes only. We can connect to it. We can just associate to
Okay.
control plane. Control plane is like just a platform. It
Okay.
is it is not.
So we have control only on the data plane. I mean, whatever
On the
changes will be doing. Okay. Yeah.
yes. Control plane we cannot control. It's
Yeah.
AWS which is controlling.
AWS services. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So now what I'll do is I'll connect to my own EC2 instance, which I have already configured once. So let me just connect to it. This is same EC2 instance which we are using till now. And I will just increase the font. I will increase the font. Okay.
If you save that in the sessions or next time, so it will be permanent. This
It will
font will be
permanent.
saved.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Change setting
Yeah.
session.
Session default. Yeah, you can save, apply. So
Apply. I want to do something so that it should not disconnect. I don't know why it's disconnecting every time. Okay, so now I've done this. I'm connected to my EC2 instance. Now, next thing is very, very important. Now, what you have to do, see, you are trying to connect to your another resource from this EC2 instance. You are trying to connect to another AWS. So EC2 is one service. You're understanding this. You have to understand this very clearly. EC2, this instance, EC2, can you see here EC2?
yeah,
It's starting with EC2. This is one service of
yeah.
AWS. AWS is offering more than 100 services now. EC2 is one service. Another service is Amazon Elastic Kubernetes service. These are two different services, right? Like in your team there are two different employees. You are one there, another team member is there. There are two different person who are working for the same project, who are a part of the same project. Similarly, EC2 and EKS, they are two different services which are a part of these two different this AWS console, which is managed by AWS. Now, these two instances, you and your team member, you both belong to same project, but you may talk with each other. You may not talk with each other. It's not mandatory that it's not compulsory that you have to talk with everyone in your team. But if you need, you will talk with your team member. But even though you begin talking with your team member, there should be some kind of permissions. There should be some kind of approvals which you will have. There should be some kind of authorization you will have so that you can go and discuss on something with your other team member. Some sort of thing should be there, right? Otherwise, we feel hesitate. We hesitate to go and talk to anyone, any strange person, because we don't know what to talk. So some sort of permissions should be there so that you start interacting with your team members. Similarly, even though EC2 and EKS belong to same AWS, they need some sort of permissions to talk to each other, right?
Yeah.
You're getting my point where I'm going to, right?
Yeah, sir,
Yeah.
but you mentioned like this EC2 is we can consider the instance where we have access, and this is different services, this Kubernetes services which we are running, right? On in that
Yes.
instance. Okay.
Kubernetes is different. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So Kubernetes is one service, even though they are a part of same AWS, but they are two different services. They have to talk. Why
But
they have to talk? That is the question. Why they have to talk? Because we don't have access to, because we don't have any separate instance for control plane. We have to, we
okay.
have to, yeah, we have to just configure control plane. We have to connect to control plane, which is entirely managed by AWS. These two separate nodes are there, But I am not going to manage these two nodes. Who will manage these two nodes? Control plane will manage
Control.
these two. Yeah.
Yeah.
This we have seen in our theory also. Control plane will manage these two nodes. What I have to do is I have to just connect to control plane. And in order to connect to control plane, what I'll do, I'll use my EC2 instance. Clear now?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So now,
But sir, this Kubernetes services we are enabling or installing in the same instance, right? I mean,
yes,
EC2 instance.
yes, yes,
But
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
we are.
yes.
Okay. So the first thing which we have to do is we have to grant some sort of permissions. How will we grant those permissions? In order to grant permissions, at initial level, I explained one thing to get to execute that AWS configure command. You remember this command, AWS configure? Yeah. When we
Yeah, I mean, we install some.
You
Yeah,
installed AWS CLI,
yeah,
and after that you have executed this AWS configure command, wherein it was asking access key ID,
yeah,
access secret, and region, and after that format, and that's it. Yeah,
yeah.
we have already done this. So AWS configure you have to execute. After that, the key ID, secret key, a secret access key, and region you have to put in, and that's it. Once you do this, you have logged in. You have permissions to do whatever you want to do. Now, after you have done this, so these are couple of steps. I'll just keep making note of these steps. First, EKS setup steps. First thing which you have to do is create EKS cluster on AWS Management Console. This part is clear, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So now next thing is grant permission, or second I'll say is login to your EC2 instance and there execute command to grant permissions. Which command you will execute? You will
A-
execute AWS
AWS config.
configure command. Okay. You will execute AWS configure command like this, and once you do that, it will ask you this sort of values, and once you do this, it will be done. So this will be the command which you are going to execute. It's clear till point number 3. Any doubt?
Yes, yeah, clear, sir.
Okay, cool. So now once you are done with this, next you have to start with Kubernetes configuration setup. You'll have to start with Kubernetes configuration. Now you have to execute some Kubernetes specific command. This command you have to execute for that AWS EKS hyphen hyphen region, AWS EKS hyphen hyphen region. Your region is, my region is, your region could be different. My region where I've created this Elastic Kubernetes service is Asia Pacific Mumbai, because I live in India. So I created it, which is very close to me. So now for me, it is AP South 1. I think Mumbai will be more closer to you than to me.
Yeah, it thrown some error to me. I was at starting of this lecture. I was just clicked. I was checking that option. So it asked me to change the region, which I have selected Asia Pacific. So it is asking me to change that to enable these services.
Oh, okay. Okay. Maybe you can change it and you can
Yeah,
just choose the US East
yeah,
one in that case.
yeah.
Okay. So now I'm going to choose this. And once I select this, I'll have to just give this a region. After that, what I'll do, I'll put this update kubeconfig and then hyphen hyphen name You see, same command I'm pasting, which is a part of these steps also. And then I have to give the name of my Kubernetes cluster, which is this. This is the name of my Kubernetes cluster and this. Okay, ensure that it's not in second line, it's in same line. So this is the command. This command could be different for you based on your region, based
Region.
on the name of your Kubernetes cluster. Yeah. But this command, this is the command which you have to execute. As you execute this command, what will happen is it will create a kind of Kubernetes configuration for you. I've already executed this command, but if you execute this command, this will set up a configuration for you. Now, once it sets up this configuration for you, you will have Kubernetes configuration ready. You will have Kubernetes configuration ready. If you want, you will be able to check the Kubernetes configuration also by executing this command kubectl config view, but you will be able to execute this command after kubectl installation, because by default you will not have kubectl installed. By default you will not have kubectl installed. So in order to get execute this command kubectl config view, you will have to install kubectl first, which we will talk about now. So why this is important, why this is needed, why this update kube config is needed? This update kube config is needed in order to set up some sort of configuration file for your Kubernetes cluster. Specifically for your Kubernetes cluster, you have to have a configuration file in your machine, because you are dealing with the most complicated type of service in IT industry at this point of time, and most critical type of service in IT industry at this point of time. Because I'll tell you, and I can bet on this, almost 99% of the industries globally is now using Kubernetes. You can think about it, how important it is and how critical it could be. Failure of one Kubernetes cluster can lead to big time outage and huge penalty, huge financial losses for organizations. So this is very critical, very, very important, right? This is very critical and very, very important. And you are dealing with that. So for that, you have to have some sort of configuration file with you. Now, Kubernetes, in order to install kubectl, like the way I said you even before, you will use kubectl to do what? To execute any of the command. Kubectl stands for Kubernetes controller. In order to set up kubectl, you have to you have to execute few steps. And where you are executing these all commands, where you will set up this kubectl? In your EC2 instance only, in the instance which you have created separately for your use. You are not going to use the data plane nodes, because data plane nodes main purpose is to create pods and to run the pods only. Why we are doing it in our EC2 instance? Because we want to connect to control plane which is managed by AWS, which is not managed by us. Right? You are getting this point, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So now in order to install Kubernetes, I'll copy this link, kubectl. I'll copy this link and and yeah, and this is the command. This is the step to install kubectl. It is there for Mac also, Linux also, Linux with AMD processor, Linux with ARM processor, and Windows also. So since my EC2 instance is Linux, I'm going to choose Linux, and that even AMD processor. Click on this. So now ensure that you are choosing the right command here based on which Kubernetes version you have created, Kubernetes cluster version you have created. You have to choose the right command. Since my Kubernetes cluster version is 1.34, that is what it is, right? 1.34 is my Kubernetes cluster version. So I will use the command which is for 1.34 only. I cannot use 1.33 because for me it is 1.34. So I'm going to copy this and paste this here. Copy this and paste this here. Paste this here. Okay. So once I'm pasting, you hit enter. As you hit enter, what it is going to do? It is going to download this kubectl package. Right? It will download this kubectl package, and you see it has downloaded this kubectl package. Ensure that you are downloading 1.34 only and not anyone else. And do a sctl. As you do a ctl, can you see that? Can you see that it has just downloaded this
Yeah.
kubectl package from?
kubectl.
After you do this, what is the next step? So this is going to be the first step. Right? So this is going to be the first step. Um, this is going to be the first step. This is going to be the first step. After you have done this, you can skip because I don't want for 1.33, 1.32, I don't want for everything. So you can just skip everything. Second step is optional. I don't care about optional. Scroll down and these all are optional steps. Just come to third step. What third step says? You have to execute some executable permissions to this file kubectl. Copy this command and now execute this command. Okay, copy this command and paste this. Same command chmod plus x dot slash kubectl dot slash kubectl, hit enter and done. So this is going to be the next command. Next command. After you have executed next command is point number 4. Where there is optional, you can skip. Where there is not optional, you have to execute that. No other go. Copy this and again execute this command and hit enter. Since for me it's already done, it's saying, do you want to overwrite? For you, it will not be done. It won't give you this message. Right? Remember, I've already done it once. That is the reason
Yeah.
it's saying overwrite. For you, it will not. So I will say no to it for now, but for you, it won't be any message. Okay. So this will be third step. That will be third step. And these are the 3 steps which you have to execute. And this is all present there in AWS official documentation. Link for this is present at the top. Okay, with this, you will be done with the kubectl installation. Let me see, any other step is there? No, that is all. With this, you are done with the kubectl installation. And after that, if you are executing kubectl, it will give you some messages that yes, this is there. And after this, you will be able to execute this kubectl config view command. This command you will be able to execute. And now if I execute this, can you see this is my Kubernetes control plane? Can you see this? This
Yeah.
is my Kubernetes cluster and there is some certificate is there. This is my server, which is in AP South 1. This is the name, you see, EKS. Why it's showing some different name? Okay, I have to delete this because it's showing some different name here. I have to delete my config file. This is wrong. Because when I created this, I created with some different name. Can you see this? The name of my Kubernetes cluster is saying as EKS sample 2026, which does not look right. Okay, so it does not look right. So let me just clean this a bit and then I'll be able to go. So here, the command which I executed here, this one I have to execute again because the name should be proper,
Then
otherwise it is not going to work. I'll copy this Hit enter. AWS EKS. Okay, hyphen. There is a space. Okay, now it is present here. Now let me execute this kubectl config view. Yeah, it is here. Can you see this? It
Demo,
is
yeah.
here now. It is here, environment null, and yeah, so this cluster is present in here now. So I'm good now. Right? I'm good now. So it should work now, which was not there previously. You see, for the last time when I executed same command, I did not find that EKS demo. It was just showing EKS sample 2026. But now EKS sample 2026 and EKS demo, today's date, it's showing both the configuration. So I'm good now. So now once I'm done with this, right? Once I'm done with this, I'm all set. So here, log into your EC2 instance. And even before you do this, next thing which you have to do is grant permissions in security group by allowing all traffic in inbound rule, right? So this we have to do. Third point, log into your EC2 instance. Fourth, execute command configure. Fifth, you do this. Sixth, follow these steps to install Kubernetes, kubectl. Seventh, you do this. And and I think you are done. And I think you are done. Now let's see. Let's execute some kubectl command. Let's execute some kubectl command now. What happened? I'm unable to type. Let me just re-log in. Let me just re-log into EC2 instance. There's something because of which I'm unable to execute any command. SC2 hyphen user. Okay. And now I'll get root privileges. Now I'll say kubectl. My first command, kubectl get nodes. This is the first command. You see, it started working now, right? It
Yeah.
started working now. So you just executed one single command wherein you wanted to see which all nodes are a part of your cluster. Also, what I'll do parallelly is I'll keep maintaining some notes of Kubernetes important commands so that you can understand it. You can refer it. kubectl important commands. Okay. kubectl get nodes. This is the first command. What this command will do? This command will output all the nodes which is a part of your Kubernetes cluster, right? This will just list down all the nodes which is a part of your Kubernetes cluster. Like the way now what it has done, it has just given me in output both the nodes which is a part of my Kubernetes cluster. So now you know how to set up Kubernetes cluster, how to install kubectl so that your EC2 instance understands kubectl command. Your EC2 instance is able to communicate with EKS cluster properly. This part is clear, right? All these 6 to 7 points, everything is clear, right?
Yeah. So can you please scroll up that initial steps first? So we enable the services, sir, EKS services. Can you please in that AWS portal, sir, two instances. Can you please open that?
Sure.
Closed. Yeah. So here, sir, I mean, now the cluster, you have given the cluster name, right? And we have this two, F8 and F0, two instances.
Yeah.
So uh, here I'm getting a bit confused. Like, so we created one cluster, and that will be in backend. These two instances will be our control plane.
No, two
Then
instances are not control plane. They are nodes. They
okay,
are
these
the
two are
nodes of
nodes,
AWS.
and okay,
Control plane is managed by AWS.
AWS.
There's no separate instance for control plane.
But sir, on then these two instances, then which that command which we are running, that is applicable for which instance then?
You see, when I execute, because I'm executing command on this control plane. Now, control plane knows everything. Control
Okay.
plane knows that I have three nodes with me. I have two nodes with me. So that's the reason when I executed this command, you see, this
Yeah.
command is giving output of both the
Both.
instance.
And that cluster name is common for. Okay. Yeah, clear, sir. No, it's clear. That's what I thought. You are doing this on only specific instance. Okay.
But
So
this
we
is
are.
for both.
Yeah.
This is for both. So let me just elaborate it. Hyphen o wide. You will be able to see that thing also. Okay, here it gives even better information, more detailed information. Here it says that this is one instance, this is another instance. Everything, everything which you want to know about these two instances, it gives all the details about it. So, but yes, I am executing command on EC2 instance, which is now connected with control plane. Control plane knows that within this cluster, how many nodes are there? Two nodes are there. So it's just displaying. Now, when I'm creating pods, if I'm connected to only one single node, I won't be able to create pods in another node. But
Yeah.
that is not right because control plane should be capable of creating pods, and that's what we learned in our timeline also. Control plane should be capable of creating pods in all the nodes, should be able to manage all the nodes. And that is why we are not connected to any specific EC2 instance which are acting as node. Neither this one, neither F58 nor 7F0. I'm connected to altogether a third one, and this third one is connected to control plane, this top level, this one.
Yeah.
But I can manage each of the node in separately. Got it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's clear, sir.
Cool. So now you see this is done. This is done. Now I have my pods ready. Sorry, I have my nodes ready. I can see more things also. I can see, yeah, for now, so now let's see which is how many pods we do have present at this point of time. Now what it says, I have zero pod present. I have zero pod present in default namespace. Now, one more important thing which I want to talk about, get namespace. One more important thing I want to talk about, which is namespace. So what is a namespace? Namespace is like a kind of virtualization, a kind of virtual separation. Now, what happens? Say, consider that you have created a pod. You have created a pod for maybe say you are working in for a bank. A bank is having different applications. A bank is having loan application, bank is having credit card application, bank is having debit card application, bank is having savings account application. So these are the different applications, products which bank is offering to their customers. For each product, what you have done, you have created a separate application. Now, if for each of the application to work properly, what you have done, you have created some separate sort of pods. You don't want the pod which is created for loan application to consume all the space, all the memory, all the resources of your cluster so that other applications like credit, debit, and savings application won't have sufficient amount of resources. You don't want that. For example, in a room, there are four individuals. In one single room, you have sufficient amount of food. because when any individual has to live, survive, they have to eat. Now, in a room, there are four individuals. One is very fat, almost 200 pounds. Another individual is, say, 80 pounds, very lean guy. And other two individuals are kind of average, nearly 120 pounds, 130 pounds. Weight is there, right? So now what is happening is the person which is having 240 pounds weight is heavy like a sumo, is able to eat a lot, but food is very limited. Food is limited, and food is shared. Food is provided in order for all the four-person to survive. But one person 240 pounds, another person very lean, only 80 pounds, another two-person is of average weight 100 pounds or 120 pounds. Okay, so now what will happen? You don't want sumo to eat everything so that other three will die. You don't want to do that. You want to create a kind of isolation, a kind of segregation,
Yeah.
a kind of restriction that one person can eat only this much food, not more than that. Similar kind of logic is applied in case of Kubernetes also, to which we call as namespace. Each of the namespace is having some pre-allocated resources. Others won't be able to eat memory or take resources which is allocated to other namespaces. By default, there are always four namespaces created. One is default, kube public, kube system, and kube node lease. So all the cube system contains all the system related resources, like I spoke about API server, etcd, that also requires some memory, right? Etcd itself is a kind of database. So now if I see kubectl get pods, if I have to see the resources which is present in any specific namespace, then I'll put the name of the namespace in the command itself. Now, if I hit enter, you will see that you see something is running. Something is running. If I go to kube public, then in kube public also, there will be something which is running. Okay, there is nothing running here. Let's see what is running in this. Let's see what is running in this. Here also nothing is running. So only kube system has certain resources running, and these are the two resources which is running in kube system namespace, which I did not create, right? I did not create that. That was auto created at the time of Kubernetes setup itself, EKS setup itself, which AWS has created on its own. So you have to understand one thing very nicely. What is namespace? So here, another theory point Another theory point is namespace. So what is namespace? Namespace is a kind of virtual isolation. You understood what is namespace, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So another important theoretical concept is namespace, which is also one good important thing for you to understand. Namespace. Namespace is a virtual isolation to share resources. Namespace, virtual isolation, isolation to share resources, to share resources. Okay, virtual isolation to share resources. This you have to manage. This you have to manage. So this is what namespace is. This is how we work with namespace. So now, as of now, like the way you have seen, kubectl get, if you don't mention anything, if you don't use this hyphen n is used to get the resources which is present in any specific namespace, and kubectl get ns is the command which is used to list down all the namespaces which is present. And in case if you want to list down all the pod which is present in any specific namespace, you will use hyphen n flag and give the name of the namespace where you want to list down all the resources. Maybe it happens that in production environment, on in real-time setup, we don't create anything in default namespace. We create namespace based on our application. Maybe for loan, I have created separate namespace. Maybe for credit, I have created separate namespace. For debit, I have created separate namespace. For savings, I have created separate namespace with the name savings, debit, credit, and maybe loan, like that. And I've created separate pods for separate type of applications in order to create a kind of proper isolation in between resource sharing. Okay? So this is very much important. So now once you have done this, now you are able to get all the resources. As of now, if you don't mention anything, then it will try to get in which namespace? Default namespace, and default is your one of the namespace. Default is your one of the namespace. So first thing which you need to learn is how to create a namespace. First thing which you will learn is how to create a namespace. The command to create a namespace is kubectl create namespace and give the namespace which you want to create. So I want to create a namespace which is with the name demo namespace, demo hyphen namespace. This is the namespace which I want to create, or demo underscore namespace. This is the namespace which I want to create. So the command is kubectl create ns and the name of the namespace which you want to create. And as I hit enter, the namespace, okay, it says that I cannot use underscore. Let's use hyphen. Yes. So the namespace with the name demo hyphen ns has been created. What it says, namespace with this name has been created. Now, if I execute the same command, the command which I executed to create the namespace is this. Now, if I list Now, if I list the namespace, you see previously this was not there. In the previous output, you did not see demo-ns, but it appeared just now because I created it just now, 28 seconds ago. Right? So this command is used to create a namespace for myself, a kind of isolation, virtual isolation of resources. This part is clear, right?
Yeah, so using these commands or namespace, we are creating logical, or we can say segregation, partition. We are
Uh,
doing that. But so here, I mean, my doubt is while creating that, it just the logical partition, right? On the same instance. I mean, so
True.
here we do not have that visibility. Like on control plane, we are executing this command, so we don't know, I mean, on which instance this is created, or that thing, or we don't need to take care that part. We just have to focus on this. I mean,
Yeah.
in case
Yeah.
in one of the instance it gets down or fail, in that case, that
Very good.
that
Good,
Mhm.
good question. Good question. So now what Kubernetes does, and it's a very good point. See, Kubernetes does not contain resources of each instance separately or each
Right.
node separately. What Kubernetes does is, say in case if the memory of the first node is 2 GB, second
Mm.
node is 2 GB, third node is 2 GB. So what cluster says that in total, this is 6 GB of space. So cluster just adds all the resource and creates a pool and say that the total memory which is available for this cluster is 6 GB. Maybe the CPU, which is again another important component which is needed for applications to work, is CPU. So the CPU of first node is 1, second node is 2, and third node is 3. So in total, it makes 6 CPU. So now the total CPU of this pool is 6, memory is 6. Now say in case if 6 namespaces are created, then each namespace will have equal memory and equal CPU allocated to them by default. So no, this memory or CPU is not on node level, but it is on complete pool level. And the resources of each node adds up to form that pool. Understood this
Yeah,
part?
yeah, it's clear now.
Yeah. Okay. So let's stop today here only.
Okay.
And maybe Monday we'll meet again.
Yeah.
But again, if you're practicing, don't forget to delete those because
Yeah.
that's what I'm
Sir,
looking a
if you
lot.
have just 2 minutes, can I just share my screen and just show
Yeah,
you
yeah,
that?
yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
just, I just requested you. I think,
I have to stop sharing my screen.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is, I think here, okay.
Everything
Billing.
what you got is because of EC2 only.
Yeah. Okay, so I said that budget for one, that's why it did not trigger any email. Okay. So I will make this payment and I will, I mean, I have to use the new one. Yeah, you can see this one.
Show me your budget.
Budget, top.
Uh, left side down, 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 come down. Budgets.
Two budgets, I think I said. One is monthly and
Yeah, $1 is there and $10. Yeah, so both are okay. Because as if now I did not reach to. See, it's showing
yeah,
$0.01.
0 1.
Yeah, you have
But
spent.
and I let me also show that free tire. I mean, there is not anything it's showing. I mean,
Yeah, so it's showing that you have used this much of capacity, which is so for you under free tier, only this is the resource which is available at this point of time.
okay.
Other resources are not free for you.
Okay. I will create new accounts instead
Yeah,
of
yeah, delete
using
this
this.
account.
Yeah, I will delete all things.
Otherwise, unnecessarily you will.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Have a nice
Thanks.
weekend.
Bye.